Hello. Today I wanted to do a little video update about stuff. I put in the CD key. Whatever. Alright. Now this doesn't loop, does it? I was just kind of hoping to have something running in the background. Yeah, hello. So today I wanted to do a little video update about stuff I've been working on, stuff that's coming up, and all that kind of jazz. So this table set thing. Now, I don't think I covered this specifically, but this is new. I've been putting up pictures and some little test videos of it on Twitter, and I'm really liking how it turned out. I haven't done this shot yet in video, but this is actually the shot in particular I wanted. I could reframe it better, bring the camera back a little bit more, because I want to get, well, the whole height of the computer is technically in the shot, but I need more that direction and to block this light. Anyway, getting a little caught up there. But this shot is pretty much exactly why I wanted this desk, because my main desk set it doesn't have the height that I need. Literally, there's that much space, well, I'll bring it down, between this case and the top of the desk. And I'm going to be doing my new DOS PC build. Well, it's not new. That meaning on my channel in particular has a particular definition. But anyway, I'm going to be doing a DOS PC build, hopefully soon, because I need it before LTX, and we'll get to that later. And it literally won't fit on my desk. The shelf above it is not high enough up, so I have to have another set that has more vertical space. Yeah, I knew it wouldn't do it. Oh well, I'll just close this. Oh, you can't Alt F4 Quake 3. Didn't know that. I think Driver. Yeah, Driver has demos. Driver's not installed. Whatever, I'll leave it there. Anyway, so I'm really excited about this. So far I'm pretty happy with it. I've been shooting a video, just kind of getting to grips with how I want this set up, of the Casio IF8000 I was sent a while ago, and I'm somewhat happy with the footage, somewhat not. I'm still playing around with that and how I want to do that. It was also a challenging video because I fully scripted it, and in general I don't like fully scripted videos. I need to move to a workflow where I present myself with an outline of just little bullet points where I refer and ad-lib to that rather than a rigid set of words, because when I'm just forced to read a script, I don't really like it that much, and it's harder to have it feel natural. So I'm going to try doing that more. I might go back and retweak the script for this to be bullet points instead. I actually went through and completely retweaked my video research and pre-production workflow to the point where it's super simple now. I can actually just grab a tablet. I don't have it nearby. It's the Nexus 10. I've shown it in a different one of these videos. And work through a Google spreadsheet, and I don't even really have to type anything into it. I can just click through and use generated search links for eBay, Google, Google Books, and it will just bring up relevant stuff to the subject that I give it. So that's pretty cool. I'm working on that. Generally, for this last couple of weeks, I haven't got a lot of filming done because I've been doing a lot of prep work for projects and getting a lot of stuff ready for LTX, so I'll cover that. Unlike nearly every one of these videos I've done, I don't have a set of notes about subjects I want to cover, and I'm really hoping I don't have to do retakes of this like I normally do, because, yeah, so you're probably just going to get this one directly uploaded, although I never really do that much editing anyway. So LTX is pretty much all set up. I'm going to be giving them my final estimates and everything today, and by the end of the day I'm pretty sure it's going to be done, at least the day I'm recording this. I'm not sure when I'm going to upload this, probably today. So that's, yeah, it's really, really, really close to done. I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be so much fun. I am going to be driving to LTX, and just for reference, I'm in the Phoenix area, and that's going to be a fun drive. It's going to be about 24 to 26-hour drive, so I'm going to spread that over 2 days. I'm used to doing drives where I'm in the seat for like 6 hours at a time. I've actually driven 6 hours, got out of the car and helped someone move, so I don't think I'm going to have a problem with a 12-hour drive. Yeah, that's that's going to be fun. It's actually funny because I think I might be crossing through Vegas. I'm not sure. I'm half tempted to do a stream where it's real life desert bus at the beginning of the trip. That could be funny, but I don't know. That would be kind of... I would have to look at the truck and see if I could set up webcams and stuff and how well I'd be able to stream. And there would also be kind of a lot of data. I would stream for at least 6 hours, I think. So that would be potentially expensive data-wise. But anyway, that's probably not going to happen. That was just a thought I had yesterday while I was looking up stuff, getting everything locked down. But yeah, LTX is coming up in a couple of months, not soon. And I've got a lot of cool stuff planned for that. I will be shooting video. I keep getting asked that. I'm going to take my camera and I'm going to do some shots. I'm going to be in my booth most of the time, but talking with them a little bit more. Looks like I might be on some discussion panels. Other than that, I don't really have any more details of what's going on, so I can't say for sure what I'll be doing, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to be in my booth for a large portion of the time, so I'm going to have the time to record some videos. I think it'd be really fun to do a video of getting people's impressions as they use the computers, because, I mean, I'm going to be bringing computers that are from the 70s, so people definitely will not have had the chance to experience those, and I think that'd be fun to see what they have to say about them. So yeah, really looking forward to that. That's going to be a lot of fun. Let's see. So, I wanted to talk about some of the projects I've been working on in the background. So, I know I've pretty much established myself as a vintage computer person. Well, I don't consider this vintage. This is just old computer to me, not vintage. It's a weird distinction. I don't know. That's kind of funny and hard to put down. I don't think I've really talked about that on video. I kind of look at anything Pentium and beyond as not a vintage computer, and that's just going to be your perspective, because I know for some people this is a really old computer and they would have never even considered using something like this during their point in their life, and that's just because they're younger, and I totally understand that. But to me, this is a new computer, kind of, and I don't just mean because I built it with new parts. Anything Pentium and beyond has certain features. It will always have sound. It will always have graphics capability. It will always have internal storage. So that kind of set up how computers are going to be forever. Basically, computers haven't really changed. Yeah, they have wireless peripherals now, Wi-Fi, faster internet, and just faster everything in general, but really computers haven't changed a lot since this point. And every computer before this, it's totally up in the air as to what features it's going to have, how it's going to work. You know, the software is not compatible with anything, so trying to find software is a challenge in its own, and it becomes, each computer is its own unique experience. Everything after this, computers are kind of all interchangeable. So, to me, Pentium and beyond are not vintage computers, and it's just kind of an interesting thing. I thought, I don't really know. Let's see, I had my 46er, the ThinkPad X365. I was just going to hold it here, but I don't need to do that. So yeah, that's just kind of interesting. When I was communicating with Linus Tech Tips about, or Linus Media Group, I'm not sure how they prefer to be referred to, but I was communicating with them what I could set up. It was funny because I had done 3 areas in my booth for the 70s, 80s, and 90s, and they requested a 2000s. Well, they were saying it would be cool if I could do a 2000s booth, and I can. It's just, to me, that's kind of, I wouldn't even consider this being interesting, but I do have to realize that other people will find this stuff more interesting. To me, Windows 98 is the last interesting operating system. Windows XP is really good. It's just, to me, that's it. It's the first NT kernel, so it loses some compatibility with the older software that I obviously collect. Actually, on a tangent to this tangent, I've been putting together a list of all of the big box software I have, and I've been using my phone, and I created a Google form that feeds into a Google spreadsheet. I can put in the title, the year, take a picture and everything. Now I know I'm going to be doing editing on this footage because I'm going to want to put a little screenshot or something in there of that. Or I can just link to the publicly available version. There you go. Now I don't have to edit. And that's kind of fun. My game collection, it turns out, mostly is around 1996, and I think it was 1992. So this is, I guess, my general interest for computers. I would say that it's not because it's Windows 98 or anything. I don't really know. It's just kind of funny. There were a lot of good games. I feel like 1993 is underrepresented in that list as well. I mean, Doom, SimCity 2000. I know there are more games. When I was doing the video for this, I really had to cut back on the games from 1993 because there were so many fundamental, awesome games that came out that year. So it's just kind of funny that 96 and 92 are the biggest representatives of my collection. But yeah, anyway, back to this, which was a tangent from another thing I wanted to talk about. The types of videos I do. So, like I was saying, I know I've mostly cut my teeth on vintage computer stuff, and that's kind of what I'm known for, but I also like old audio, hi-fi equipment, that type of stuff. And I'm probably going to have a bunch of those videos coming out soon, because I've just found a bunch of stuff of that at thrift stores. I kind of half plan videos that I'm working on, something like this with the script, and half just do videos based on what I get and how I'm emotional about it at the time. When I get something that needs a lot of repair, it's kind of disappointing to me. Not in that, you know, I'm gonna have to put in all this effort, but that I know I'm going to lose that initial sense of curiosity over the item and that momentum for going through and repairing it. So, like a while back, I picked up a Panasonic VCR from 1979, which is super early into VHS. It's really cool. It's gorgeous. The pinch rollers that bring the tape around the head don't fully move all the way up, and I'm not sure what the problem is. I haven't started to disassemble it because, it's not going to be fun, and I'm not sure what parts I'm going to need. So it's this kind of catch-22 where I can start working on the video, but I don't know how long it's going to take me to finish it, and then that would tie up my desk space, which is one of the reasons I wanted this, because I can do a really short video over here while I'm working on a longer video, so that's going to be really nice. But it's hard to come back to a video like the VCR because I don't know how long it's going to take, I don't know what parts I'm going to need, and I don't know if I'm actually going to be able to fix it. For all I know, I'm going to get... It might just need cleaning. I might tear it apart, clean it, and it works, but then the head's bad. So that's one of the fun things about those videos. But anyway, recently I picked up a couple of interesting things. I was going to grab it and bring it in here before I started this, but I found a Pioneer... I'll just link to a bunch of images because I don't want to edit this. I found a Pioneer 8-track player, which I thought was hilarious because it's just an 8-track unit. It doesn't have play, stop, fast forward, rewind, anything. It has one button, program change. It changes the 4 separate stereo tracks. I think that's awesome. I'm looking forward to putting that alongside my Pioneer SX780 and just having it look weird because it's so small that it's a whole player in the front of it's like that big. It's awesome. Of course, 8-track works by engaging the motor once you plug the cartridge in. So technically, to pause it, you just pull the cartridge out and then put it back in when you want to play. So you don't need controls. I mean, fast forward, rewind would be nice. It'd also be nice if you could fast forward and stop when it hits the metal tab that tells it to change tracks. But it's a very basic player. I'm sure it was super cheap. I haven't looked it up. I was doing some research for a Radio Shack thing. What was I trying to find? This is something else entirely. And I saw one of their 8-track players in the Radio Shack catalog that was like this, and it was dirt cheap as well. So yeah, anyway. Other things. I picked up a Sansui QXR or QRX. I think it might be QXR 7001. Is a quadraphonic receiver. it does phono input, decodes or SQ and QS and CD-4 quadraphonic channels, or quadraphonic inputs. CD-4 is never going to happen, because it turns out the styluses for that are like $150 to $200. The records are dirt cheap because no one has styluses. I assume no one has made those styluses since the 70s, so it's all old stock at this point, and it's impossible to get them. But that's a really cool receiver. I've been working on that in the background, getting it going. I haven't recorded any footage yet because it's just been little things, like I had to order fuses, which I ordered on Arrow. I didn't get them quite next day because I ordered on a Friday, and apparently they don't do stuff on Saturday or Sunday, even though it was FedEx that they shipped it. Actually, they didn't ship it until Saturday, even though I ordered it in the morning and for one day overnight. Whatever, it didn't really matter. I didn't need it next day, but that tells me that if I'm working on a video on Friday, I'm not going to get the parts Saturday like I might think. So, but yeah, the quad receiver is going really well. I also got it with it's a Sansui receiver, and I got it with well, 2 sets of Sansui speakers. I already had 2 other ones, so I got it with 2 SP3200As. They seem to work perfectly. I don't have them set up in a very audible place, and they have upwards firing tweeters, so I kind of can't hear those when I'm listening to it, but they sound fantastic. It also has SP1500s, which I'm going to introduce in the video I inevitably do about the quad player, and then I'm going to take them out immediately because the woofers are bad, and I think I've recapped the crossover on those. I actually recapped the crossover on those off video before I recapped my Technics. What are they, SB240s, something like that, 402s. They belonged to someone else. I was given them, so I was recapping it for them. That was practice. They were kind of a pain. They're all glued in. It was a way bigger deal to recap those than the Techniques. But anyway, they need a complete... They need their own video where I go over how you can work on replacing the tinsel wire on speakers. At least the paper cone ones, something like an HPM 900 that has graphite cones. You wouldn't want to do this for. You just sayonara on those. So yeah, I'm going to be doing a couple more receiver things. I picked up a weird CD player that has 2 trays that eject and then 1 drive. It has 1 transport for playing them. I'll kind of give it away. It moves in the back between the 2 trays. It's really weird. I think it's a 1985 CD player. Again, might be 87, I don't remember. But it's cool. It was almost the easiest player to change belts on ever. I like to open stuff up before I do a video sometimes to assess the difficulty of doing the repair video on it. And it has 2 belts. You take off the case, they're on the total sides of the unit. They're super tiny belts. I don't have any belts that are that small out of the little kit I've shown a couple times. And I was trying to use some super small rubber bands, and they were going to work, but there's a belt underneath somewhere that moves the transport back and forth. So that's going to be a pretty easy video. I just need to record that sometime. But yeah, I'm going to have a couple of hi-fi videos coming up, and hope you guys like those too, because I find it interesting. So yeah, let's see. What was something else? Oh, so I've... did I only allude to it in the mail video that I was going to do Retro Bright stuff, or have I mentioned it here? I'm not sure. But yeah, I'm working on a Retro Bright setup. Now, unlike most people, I'm not content with just, say, getting a pot, sticking a sous vide in it, pouring in some hydrogen peroxide, and hoping. I want to know every single part of this. So part of the thing that bothers me is that retrobrighting has a lot of unknowns to it. Why does stuff yellow? Does doing the process of retrobrighting deteriorate the plastic, or has it already deteriorated? And, you know, what's the best method? I've seen UV light or sunlight or heat or hydrogen peroxide or ozone. So my intention with doing retrobrighting is to, yeah, have a retrobright setup by the time I'm done doing all of my research, but I also want to understand completely what's going on. So I've been doing a lot of research on retrobriting, and I actually know a chemical engineer, and I've enlisted their help on this. So I'm going to be doing probably the most in-depth video on retrobriting that has ever been done. I'm going to try and keep it concise, but see how it goes. And I thought it'd be kind of fun to give you a little bit of a taste of the stuff that I'm learning through this in this Patreon video. Because there's a lot of complexity to this, shocking, and it's kind of interesting. I want to give you an idea of the level of detail I'm going into this. So, I want to let me think about this. I want to give you a good idea without not necessarily giving everything away, but not making this overly long. So, okay. First, what causes the yellowing. It's long been suspected that it was bromine in the fire retardant of the plastic. Now, I'm very curious where that originated because I haven't tried to figure that out yet, but I'm pretty sure that's correct. So I looked into different fire retardants that were in production, and especially earlier. It's one in particular I'm going to be referencing has been banned due to being carcinogenic. And it was heavily laden with bromine, and it forms from a single phosphate molecule that's surrounded by bromine oxides that are bonded to it. Now, it's a dibromine monoxide, and when that is a separate molecule, it is brown in color, and there's also bromine dioxide that is a yellowish color. And my suspicion is it's known that UV light or sunlight causes yellowing, and my suspicion is that the UV light in the sunlight is breaking down the oxygen bonds in the fire retardant molecules, thus freeing the bromine and oxygen to form their own molecules that are separate from the fire retardant molecule, and that's what causes the initial yellowing. Now, the de-yellowing is done by a process called advanced oxidation. Now, what you do is either with hydrogen peroxide or ozone, the whole intent with either of those is to break them down into free radicals. You either get free oxygen in ozone, or sometimes a free oxygen or an oxygen-hydrogen bond molecule with the hydrogen peroxide. Now, those free radicals combined with the UV light or the heat, maybe it's just UV light. I need to do more research with the heat, but I think that would leave the bromine oxides that are in the plastic that are the yellow color would also leave them susceptible. But the free radicals generated from decomposing ozone or hydrogen peroxide interact with the bromine oxides in the plastic and then remove them by combining them into a gaseous molecule that then separates from the plastic. So the process does remove bromine from the plastic, and I'm getting close to the point where I can prove that. I'm going to be looking into getting a spectrum analyzer, and what I'm going to do is capture gas in a nearly sealed chamber where before retrobriting is done and after retrobriting is done, so we can see what the atmospheric content of the retrobriting is after the process is finished. So I would expect to see a increase in bromine atoms in the gas. So that is going to be cool. I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to be able to get my hands on the equipment to do that. It seems really expensive on eBay, but my chemical engineer friend seems to think that we might be able to do that. So we'll see how that goes. So yeah, the entire process is the bromine fire retardant molecules break down into separate bromine oxides. You then use advanced oxidation to use free radicals to combine with the bromine oxides to then produce bromine gas, and you then remove it from the plastic. Now, I've done testing with ozone, with heat, with UV light, and hydrogen peroxide, and out of all of those, one combination doesn't work, and that would be heat and ozone, which is really unfortunate because that would be the most ideal setup. That's another thing. Hydrogen peroxide to me is an unacceptable solution. because ozone is a solution. Hydrogen peroxide, you have to leave, go pick up a bottle of chemicals that are dangerous, have them on hand, or use the entire bottle for one procedure, which is then expensive. It's going to be $5 per bottle, depending on the size of the plastic piece you're working with. So it's expensive, you need dangerous chemicals on hand, and it's worse for you to come in contact with. Not that ozone's great, but it's easier to manage the ozone because you can just stick a fan over something and flush it out, especially if you do it outside. Ozone is breaks down in 250 nanometer UV light. This is getting a little more into the technical side that I'm going to cover in the video in depth in choosing hardware for this. But once ozone essentially goes into direct sunlight, it's just going to break down so quickly, it's not even going to be a problem. So doing this outside is what I'd recommend, because you don't want your house flooded with ozone, and it's just going to break down in sunlight anyway, so you're not causing an environmental problem. But anyway, hydrogen peroxide, it's too big of a mess, so I don't want to deal with that. I'm going to do only solutions that work with ozone, and unfortunately it's looking like that's just UV light. I've tried heating ozone, I've tried, or directly heating ozone through a radiator in hot water. I've tried heating ozone by having a chamber enclosed in hot water. It just doesn't work. I've been doing a lot of research on this. I found a paper from 1926 about the thermal decomposition of ozone, or was that no, that was the thermal decomposition of hydrogen peroxide. I actually found a modern paper about the thermal decomposition of ozone. A lot of research has gone into this. The ozone has a half-life at around 70 to 80 degrees Celsius of about 10 hours. That means before the first free radical you're going to generate is going to happen 10 hours into the process. It's going to be variable, but that's when you're going to see the first real spike in them. So that means I estimate at that level of thermal decomposition, you're going to take about a week to do the entire retrobriting process if you use ozone and heat. And that at least at my electrical rate, would cost about $70 to run all the equipment, because the sous vide uses a lot of power, and it's going to be on for a week, so that doesn't work. It's just, so ozone at that temperature takes about 10 hours. You can increase the temperature and decrease the half-life. But if you cross 100 degrees, go up to 105, according to the paper, ozone detonates. So that's fun. And one of the reasons why I would only ever heat ozone through a medium of water, because if the water is over 100 degrees, it boils and turns into steam or water vapor. So it's not possible to have water in a state that is more than 100 degrees. Asterisk, if you know. There's what is it? I forget the process, but you can have, like, if you have a water bottle in a freezer that was very delicately, gently chilled to below the freezing point, and then you pick up the bottle and you shake it, it'll freeze in your hand. So you can have states of matter beyond their transition points. It's just that you need an outside catalyst. It can be physical, whatever. You're gonna have the sous vide has a pump in it, so it won't be possible. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, you're totally safe trying to heat ozone in water, but you can't get it hot enough to be usable. So that doesn't work. So it leaves UV light. I'm not happy with using UV light, period, because that's going to lead to shadows. Although I haven't heard that many people having issues with shadows in UV light. I don't know if they're just constantly rotating it. I haven't done a lot of work with UV light. I'm putting together a build for the next revision of my RetroBrite chamber, and I'm picking out UV lights. I'm not going LED. I'm going mercury, low pressure mercury lamps. I'm going real deal here. All the research papers I've been reading for this kind of stuff, when they need to generate 250 nanometers UV light approximately, this is what they're using. So that's what I'm going for. And that's proving to be difficult in its own right. I'm not sure what kind of ballast you need for those lights, because I'm going to have to build my own. And that's just a whole process. I'm doing more research on that. But anyway, I'm going to be building that. I'm curious how that's going to go with shadowing. I'm going to put it inside a 10-gallon aquarium and a 40-gallon aquarium, and I'm going to cover the entire inside of it with aluminum foil. mostly to protect the silicone seals, because they will degrade in UV light, and also to protect eyeballs from 250 nanometer, because you will not enjoy looking at that. I'm also ordering, with the bulbs, some 250 nanometer UVC blocking glasses. They are the orange kind. I remember from Applied Sciences video that there's a green kind that's actually better. I'm going to see if I can track those down in glasses form as well. But yeah, anyway, so I'm going to be looking into the shadowing problem. I'm hoping maybe if it's all a reflector inside, it won't be a big deal, but I won't know until I try it. So we'll see about that. Yeah, I'm really confident this is going to do good. I have done some Retrobrite testing already. In smaller scales with hydrogen peroxide. Oh yeah, the bromine gas generation. I meant to cover this. That was I was saying hydrogen peroxide in the beginning. Well, other than mentioning that you use it, I did testing with hydrogen peroxide. I need to go back and re-verify this, but I said that there was the possibility it was generating bromine gas, and not just pure bromine gas. It'd be a bromine oxide gas, and it when I did a hydrogen peroxide bath that was heated, I believe, and this was in still water. So the way I was doing this was I had the if you've ever made ice cream at home, you have a bucket full of salted ice, and you put inside of that bucket a smaller bucket where you put the cream and sugar and all that stuff. I had the inner bucket, so this is an aluminum pot basically, and that's designed to be thermally conductive. So what I did is I put the sous vide inside the 10-gallon tank, filled the inner bucket with just plain water, put the sous vide in that, set it to 70 degrees or something, Celsius, and let that run, and that would then thermally exchange the heat to the rest of the aquarium and keep the hydrogen peroxide and water bath at the same temperature. And that was to protect the sous vide, because I don't know what long-term hydrogen peroxide exposure is going to do to a sous vide, and I don't want to find out. I'm not using it for food. I consider it dead for food anyway, so I just don't want to damage it. They're not super expensive, but they're not cheap either, and I'm not going to be able to just stumble across one at Goodwill. Anyway, I saw bubbles forming on the plastic when I was doing that test, so that was why I was explaining the setup, because there were bubbles forming on the plastic, which I believe is the bromine oxide gas forming and then leaving the plastic. I could be wrong, but I need to do a little bit more research on that. This is just preliminary stuff, you know, again, like I said, no notes. I'm just kind of spitballing here. I have no idea how long this video is going to be. I haven't set any limits, I don't know. But yeah, that's coming out fun. I have a monitor up here so I can see the camera. It's, I'm at 33 minutes, okay. So you can see it's different stuff. But yeah, that's a project that's coming along really fun. I have a lot of good leads on it. It's going to be really cool when I'm done. I'm going to present it. I'm thinking I'm going to try and write a scientific paper about this as well. There are scientific papers about advanced oxidation. I found one that I'm going to reference that's about using UV light from mercury low pressure vapor lamps and ozone to oxidize gold. To create a tarnish on it. So that's cool. This is a very similar process, but it has different goals, so the optimization of it's going to be a little different. But yeah, I also found there was I think it was just a study that was on the yellowing of plastic, and they didn't go into it as deep as I would have liked. I'm not sure. I'll have to find that again. I don't know if I'm going to link I'm not going to link all these studies in the description here. It's a lot of work. Some of them I saved, some of them I forgot to save. And it's a lot of reading. I'm going to present it in a digestible manner once I'm able to. So yeah, if you really want all that information, I can provide it. But it's kind of scatterbrained anyway. Retrobrite stuff going really well. That's what I'll say. I think I'm going to end up with I didn't even get to my main goal. My main goal for retrobriting is to have a 40-gallon aquarium and a 10-gallon aquarium set up and ready to go for different sized objects. Have my piece of plastic, put it inside the aquarium, flip a switch, it turns on, I walk away, it retrobrites. I want it to be renewable, consistent, and easy to use. There's no weird things you gotta do. You don't have to apply cream to it, or you screw up the cream and then it's splotchy and you gotta redo it. No, I just want to put a plastic in a box, turn it up, turn the box on, and then retrobrighting happens. So that's my ultimate goal, and I believe it's achievable. Heat and, well, heat would have been better because that's a uniform process. The light, like I said, is going to have shadows. You have a sphere, this side's going to be dark, but we'll see how that goes. I'm considering maybe adding a turntable to the bottom of the tank that would be magnetically controlled like a stir bar and a beaker. Well, we'll see how it all goes. Yeah, that's going along really well. Let's see, other stuff. Oh, so this is kind of funny. So that's a computer, shocking, and I've had the computer itself for years. The monitor, I picked up a little while ago, maybe about a year, and the keyboard I actually sought out for this computer. This whole computer here, I want to point out that this is a Calyx shelf, okay? Well, actually this one's Expedit, but it's basically Calyx. This is for holding records, alright? So, as I'm trying to fish out a record here. So, this is a record, it's 12 by 12, okay? This whole computer fits inside the Calyx, okay? The Calyx shelves are 13-inch by 13-inch. So that's hilarious. The computer's so small. It is a Pentium, yeah, just a Pentium 1? Now I forget. But it's 233 megahertz. It has a PCI slot and a PCI ISA option slot, and it's awesome. I'm trying to get it to work. IDE controller's bad. I'm going to do, independent of the DOS PC build, a little special video on that computer, because it's just so hilarious. Right now I have a Voodoo 2 and maybe just a Sound Blaster Live in there right now. It's going to be really cool, super tiny computer by the time I'm done with it. Like I said, it has an IDE controller, so it's got a bunch of stuff on the motherboard for a computer from that time, and the IDE controller seems to be bad. I need to get that sorted out, but that's just another one of those projects I've been putting time into that hasn't been on video. It's really cool. I'm really looking forward to it. I think because it's a Pentium that's 233 megahertz with the Voodoo 2, it has an S3 2D card on board. It would be like the most amazing, tiny little compact gaming computer you could possibly have. This monitor, it's VGA 640 by 480 full color. When this thing's going, it's really cool. It's just I haven't been able to play a game on it yet because of the IDE controller. I got Windows 98 installed. I don't know how, but I can't get any games to install. It always errors out when writing to the hard drive. The disk drive, it's a laptop drive, doesn't work most of the time. I had to try and install games using a parallel port CD drive. It's just proving to be a really big problem. I'm probably going to pull out the Sound Blaster and try and put a PCI IDE controller in there just to really test it to make sure the hardware works. That's not the ideal configuration. Really, I wanted a Voodoo 2 and the AW64 Gold in there. Oh, that would be awesome, but the ISA slot just doesn't work out that way. Physically inside the AW64 is too long. It starts to collide with the CD drive. This thing is so small inside. It's amazing what's packed in there. For the record, it's a cash register PC, so it's a point-of-sale terminal, kind of. Why it has a 233 megahertz processor, I don't know. That's ridiculously powerful for that, from the time period it came from. It's super cool. I'm going to be doing a video on that. That's going to be a lot of fun, that video, because it's not going to be like a whole thing I have to go through, like building the DOS PC, which is fun. It's just, I get to set it on the table, go, this thing's awesome, and then just proceed with the video from there. So I'm looking forward to that. That's another time sync type video thing. I've had a lot of projects where I've just started kind of working on them and haven't really got anything to show for it other than I know more things now, and I've got things tested and I'm moving along. Another one I'm going to do a video on at some point is I got a speaking spell. I put that up on Twitter. So it turns out, it's kind of interesting, I found that at Goodwill, alright, it's the first revision of Speak and Spell. It says 1978 on it, it has buttons, but not only that, it does not have an external power input, and it does not have a headphone jack. It's kind of weird. I didn't expect it to be first. When I picked it up, I was just, ooh, Speak and Spell, cool. I bought a box on eBay. Someone was just selling the box and the manual, so I was able to complete it, kind of. The box is for a slightly newer revision. It's the original box for the 1978 model, but it has a sticker applied to the front of it that says it comes with a headphone, earphone, whatever, and the power supply is available. And that there was a sticker on it that says it was assembled in the Philippines. Mine was assembled in the United States. It's really cool that it's such an early version. I don't actually have a runny nose. I'm just, I don't know, I guess nervous twitch. Anyway, that one's super cool. I'm going to do a video on that. I haven't decided how I want to do that video yet. I kind of want to do a video with the Speak and Spell and the TI-99/4A with the voice synthesis module. I have all that. I've shown the TI-99/4A at least. I haven't shown the voice synth module. Anyway, that would be really cool. I also have the extended basic for the TI-99/4A, so I can make the voice module do even more goodies. But I can't remember if one or both of my TI-99/4As were broken. And if I'm going to do that, I kind of want it to be the stainless steel one, which I think was the one that had bad RAM. I could swap parts between the two, but it's just another video where I have to do something before I can do the video. Like with the quad receiver, I'm going to have to do a video on my record player. You can't quite see it here, but it's the one that's here. It's an Audio-Technica ATLP 120. It's pretty much the bog standard record player you go with nowadays. It doesn't have phono out. I need a record player that has phono out because the quadraphonic decoding for records, which I have one quadraphonic record now, has to be done through the phono input. So if I want to play a quadraphonic record, I have to modify my AT120 to do phono out or buy a new record player. And it's going to cost me minutes to mod the AT120 or hundreds of dollars buy a new record player because I won't just buy a garbage one. So yeah, I'm going to mod that. So I'm going to do a video probably modding my record player at some point. I've been wanting to try veneering the black bass to make it match some of the older hardware I really have it paired with. So that could be fun. I'm also looking over there. I have a lot of cool things. I really need to do videos on that stuff. Well, man, I do videos. It's just so much cool stuff. Like I have, I'm looking at it right here. You can't see it. I can't pull it out easily. That teases a video that I'm working on that I kind of want to keep a surprise because it's too much fun. Anyway, yeah, a lot of cool stuff. Yeah, I forgot about that. I'm staring at the keyboard now. I think I posted about that. No, I didn't. I can get up here. Blocking the camera. Oh, stuff's gonna fall. This keyboard I was sent in, I spent a lot of time. It's been a while since I put up a video on Patreon. That's because I've just been spending so much time getting stuff ready. The Retrobrite LTX, this, a lot of things that ended up not producing videos. I have not been just resting on my laurels that I had, I got 2 videos in the bank, and then for the typewriter stuff, and then I had the typewriter repair video, and then I had, which, side note, in that video, I didn't fix the vertical alignment for the lowercase characters. The next day I looked up how you do that. Super easy. You don't even have to take off the bottom plate of the typewriter. There are 2 adjustment screws. You just turn it. Done. So before I make that video public eventually, I'm going to try and get a video recorded. I don't think it's going to be this one. It might be the dual tray tape CD drive before I would release the next video. I'm trying to release videos every Saturday right now. That's very softly defined. Anyway, I might edit, shoot a little end piece there and slap that at the end of the video where I say that. But anyway, this keyboard. So I at one point had this working over serial on a computer, not as a keyboard, but I could read the keystrokes. It's just ASCII. Well, it was. I'll get into that. It wasn't hard at all to use it, okay? I go to start recording a video, All right. I start taking the keyboard apart, talking about all the bits in it, what everything does on that little tiny board that was in the back right here. Okay. Go to connect it to the same adapter, all right, and it doesn't work. Somehow, it stopped outputting ASCII codes. The codes are all unique for the keys, but it's no longer outputting ASCII codes. So when I tried to decode it as serial text, it wasn't working. It was driving me insane. I was trying to get, oh, this is going to be an easy win video. I'll just have a video done. It's going to be really cool because I was going over reverse engineering everything in here, and oh, that just so backfired. It was so frustrating, that video. Man, yeah, that feels like a month ago now, but it was really only like a week or two. Well, yeah, just a lot of stuff I've been working on. I'll try and get something simpler done, like that dual tray CD player, like I said. Yeah. Well, I think that's everything. I'm curious what you. Well, you don't really get to see this full set. I spent a lot of time setting this up, getting all the framing and everything right. Not for this shot. One of the LTX updates, they had put up pictures of everyone who was going, and I don't really appear in my videos that lot, and I've never put a picture of myself online. Full stop. I'm not a big look at me kind of person. So they're putting up pictures of all the creators who are going to be there. I didn't have a picture of myself on Twitter. They tried to find a picture of me. Definitely they tried. They scrolled all the way back to February on my pictures because they ended up finding a picture of the motherboard of the Sharp PC7000, and they used that as a picture of me. Completely my fault, because I don't put up pictures of myself. They would have had to do a screen cap from a video, and I don't appear in all my videos. The only one that they would have found is pretty much the typewriter video series. So, anyway, so I set up taking some pictures of myself, which was kind of weird. So, yeah, I did pictures with and without this logo thing in the background. So this is actually a big printed on canvas image. I kind of felt like I needed it to tie that area together, because with the camera farther back, like I would actually use this set for, because now I've seen this, or at least I think I'm going to hate it in editing. It's too close, you can't see anything. Like, you can't see this half of the speaker, and there's actually the floppy box over here too, which I can't even bring into frame. I want to bring the camera further back, but they end up with this, with the white computer and the white backdrops, just too much white going over there. It's so boring, it draws your eye to there, and then there's nothing to look at. So I put the printed thing there. I've had that for longer than I've been making videos. That's why it's the different background, not the black one. So I don't know why I'm talking about this. I think I'm just bored. Not bored, but trying to fill time here, because I think I'm done. Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah. I don't have any closing remarks because I didn't make notes. So I hope this was a little insight into the background of what it be. Oh yeah, this was something I was going to mention. Part of getting this table set was I needed a place to put the microphone so you can hear me. I'm not wearing a lapel mic. I have a lapel mic. I didn't enjoy using it. I bought a $20 microphone stand from Amazon. I think you may have seen the Amazon Basics thing on the back. I was using the Rode PSA 1 mic stand, boom, swivel arm thing, mounted to a stool with a 25-pound lifting weight on it, and that was working, but this is so much better. There are complaints on Amazon that hopefully I'm not making too much noise here. Now you can just see the mic. This is on a friction swivel thing, and there are some people saying that the friction's not enough. I agree with them. It's not enough, but what I've been doing is putting a 5-pound weight on the other end, and it acts as a counterbalance so it stays up well. Yeah. Alright, I'm out of stuff. Hope you guys enjoyed this little look behind the scene. enjoying hearing about some of the projects I'm working on. They will come to fruition at some point. This isn't something like, well, the DOS PCs I did mention, that's something where it's basically a vaporware video at this point. I try not to tease videos that I'm never gonna get to. Well, not gonna never get to. It's gonna be a long time in the future. But it happens. So, because I want a lot of time to work on the DOS PC video in advance, and I thought I was getting that with the 2 typewriter videos, and then the backup video, and then the calculator recap video. And then this was supposed to be a big video that I could do really quick because I had it all done, and then that would add on, and it wouldn't be another, like, just super simple video, a filler video. But nah, my whole thing got screwed up, my plan, then I got swept up with other projects, so yeah, I'll get something done here pretty soon. Hope you guys enjoyed this little look behind the scenes. I'll see you next time.